Why is Aiden always in this position? Oh my gosh, there's no way. There's no way. Yeah.
Who do the devs like overall think is the strongest region, and why is it EU?
You know you bleed NA.
So, I think it's.
Hey everyone, Super Warrior here, aka Luna. I'm the owner of Moonlit Battlegrounds. I have 3 amazing guests with me today to talk about the game and to talk about some clips that I have for everyone for the competitive scene. I have with me Tom Kick, Wedel, and Safelocked. Can we introduce ourselves, starting with Tom Kick?
Hello, I'm Tom. I'm from EU. I'm a streamer and competitive player. Probably most well known for my Kingpin nowadays.
All right, Wedel.
Yo, it's Wedel or Wedel. Typically go by either or. I'm a longtime playtester. I do stream the game occasionally. I've been taking a small break, but now I'm back, and I'm a proud owner of Go Hogs, baby.
Woo, Go Hogs. Go Hogs is back. Safelocked.
You go by both? Okay, anyway. It's fine. Well, I'll ask you later. Hi, I'm Safelocked. I'm a game producer. I've been working in games for, I don't know, 12 years, 13 years, 15 years? I don't know. Somewhere in that range. And my most recent game that I'm working on is SUPERVIVE. So we'll be talking about a lot of SUPERVIVE right now.
All right, thank you everyone for joining. My first question is, now that the competitive scene has had some time to grow, what do you guys over at Theorycraft think about what's been happening with that?
It's actually pretty surprising to me that it's been this long-standing, really tight-knit community. Everyone knows each other. I think that's the crazy thing is that sometimes competitive scenes can be really fragmented. I think about even the old days, when we were doing small tournaments for League of Legends, or when I've gone to FGC tournaments, depending on which location you are in, you may or may not know the people there because it's so spread out. But for SUPERVIVE, it's been kind of insane because every team is recognized for their members and what they're good at, and especially their hunter picks. And so yeah, I think that's been awesome. And there hasn't been really, I mean, we've mostly been doing it via word of mouth. We've done some social presence stuff, but it's been pretty quiet, and a lot of it's been organic. So I think that's been really cool. And I can't speak for everyone on TC, but we also have team threads when the games are going, and we'll actually be watching and talking through the games and getting super excited. We'll take bets. I won't tell you guys what the bets go, but we definitely we have a ton of fun watching. Joe will even clip certain highlights and be oh my gosh, did you see this specific play? So yeah, I think that has been really, really fun. And I think the last thing I'll mention too is there's I think the most not surprising, but the most fun / terrifying things are what we witness in the competitive games nowadays. Because before, I think it would be we'd have show matches and the team would participate, and a bunch of us would have maybe we'd have 3 teams go in usually. These guys have seen it too, but I don't think any of us would be even remotely okay going into any of those matches. I've begged people to be hey, do you think we have a chance? And everyone's there's no shot. And they're probably right. But some of the plays that we've seen were just oh, this is amazing. This is part of the sandbox. Sometimes we're oh, this is illegal. And the amount of times it's been kind of illegal has gone up, and that's probably definitely informed maybe some of the balance changes that have gone in. But yeah, I would say a lot of it has been super intertwined with how we've been interacting with the game since live, which has been really cool.
Actually, why don't I throw this question to Tom, Kick, and Wedel, since I believe the 3 of us have been, you 2 have been around longer than I have, but we've all been around for quite some time. What do you guys think about how the competitive scene has been growing from the player side?
I'll let you take it first, Tom.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. I've been there for like now almost 2 years. So I also remember like back in the show match days where we didn't even have an EU server. I'm like that old, so I was like struggling on the 115 ping. But, like it's so fun. I remember specifically like some games. I think it was like learning experimenting and learning about powers and such, and like seeing the devs be so insanely creative with powers is one of like the coolest things, and maybe also realize like how much I can learn and get out of the game. Like specifically one game, I don't remember who was playing, but it was an abyss end zone, and then there was like 5 emergency platforms on all the devs, and they were just sitting in the abyss like surviving through that. I was like, wait, why didn't I think about that? It was like so cool. So being able to just watch how things have been going through show matches, now to have more competitive scenes, has been like just really, really fun.
We're just giving ourselves tools to have any shot at beating you. That's like
Writing the code before the show match starts.
Yeah.
You guys should like sneak in like a dev note, and then just like this one little thing that no one knows about but only you guys, and it just makes your character super OP.
Oh my gosh. It'll just be in the tooltip.
Real abuse, real dev abuse right there.
50% more damage to Wedel.
Oh,
Just to Wedel.
Okay. That's crazy. So as someone who has been testing for very, very long time and took a break in recent times of playing the game, I'll say I'm gonna start back to like the show match beginnings. Watching before there was a shoutcaster and you just had Pliff in the call streaming the game, and
What do you mean?
Everybody was talking about it while the show match was going on. To like what we have, like where Relic came in and started bringing in the casters. I think Zik was one of the very first ones who did like a video on it, and then like recast over, and then. Yeah, you have like I'm just talking about the evolution outside of like the actual competitive play, the actual production and everything, and like how people have scaled it up has been really cool to see and witness. And it's something I still get to watch, even when I took this break from the game for most of the beginning of this year. The evolution of production and casters and the way people have gotten better and have improved and made the overall experience fun for not just the players but like the viewers has been really cool. It's so refreshing to get to view that from an outside perspective as somebody who really, really enjoys watching esports. So yeah. So I think the community is awesome. I think it's great. It's been awesome to watch.
All right, with that being said, let's head into the first video.
So the clip I chose today was in a recent scrim. It was actually both the twins were in the same room casting, and we had died, I think, at this point in the game. This was during our little squad scrim that we had the other day. We actually had died in the game, and I was spectating, but I never ended up clipping it. I really wanted to like see this point of clip, and RTK just went away for a second off screen and then came back and did something unbelievable. So I'll leave it to that at that point.
That was my dog. Sorry.
You're good. I'll leave it to that. Whatever. We can just play the clip now.
TNN goes down. RTK pressing the ult, trying to get out on the Jewel, manages to shift out, and TLD now find themselves staring down Cat, which have managed to engage in on them. We have a huge ult coming out from heels, but the Bebo's boombox comes down from Lemur, and it looks like TLD managing to play back.
I've
for the
not
moment,
seen this, so
spacing them
I'm
out,
curious
dropping those
to what's going to be
anti-mobi
happening here.
But Rod's just unrelenting, and Krillo unrelenting, and TLD gets pushed back into 10, but RTK has a crown now. 10 is down 2 members at the moment. Oh, excuse me, 1 member, and Saucy Hack is downed by Aiden BY and Phenom, who managed to push him down. Oh my goodness,
Got the crown pop!
Wait, the crown pop from 10! Holy!
TLD's gone! That crown pop at the
my-
right time, but 4v1!
Oh, that's so
my
sad,
God.
but so cool at the same time.
Against that, I don't even know what's going on here.
That crown at the
Alright,
end
it was-
nuts.
It was a really
I'm
cool
not
play
happy
to
about
see,
that.
but it was so sad that the storm closed in on them at that exact moment after RTK had just, gone do through TLD. So, but I thought it was a really cool play to see. I was like in call with Hogs, and I was like, we just got done discussing after we died, and I was just like, RTK! And I was like, aw. I was like, wait, it's just Aiden alive. Wait, they can do it. And then I was like, aw. But it was like, it was a sick play to see. It was a sick play to see.
For those who don't know,
so hype.
for those who don't know, Aiden's always trashing on NA. And in my tournament, he called his team the Cheeseburger Conqueror. So every time Aiden loses, I'm always happy. Even though he regularly plays for MB,
gosh.
I'm still.
That's a really good name, though.
It is a good name. On our Discord, I called him Cheeseburger Aiden.
I love that.
I love that.
That was a really clean, like 3-team standoff, though. Like, it was like not clear to me the moment when Tom, you were calling out. Like, I don't even know. Like, you didn't watch it before. Like, I think if we took bets right then, it wouldn't have been clear who would have won in that moment.
Yeah, that's what I also think is like so exciting about three-way standoffs is that when all players or like all teams are playing it so well, it can like jump back and forth so much. So I like the knife's edge between what can happen, like blowing up a fight or getting out, is like it's so thin and so quick.
Who put that death circle down? I was trying to see.
That's a good question.
Tilly.
Yeah, it was I think much earlier, much earlier. You're good. Much earlier, and it was TLD.
It was smart. I thought that was actually gonna, like, they were playing the position really well with that, but yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, before we get into the next clip, another question. So this is my question: what does Theorycraft need to see happen to support SUPERVIVE as an esport more fully? Hey guys, Future Luna here. Before we get the answer to this question, I just want to say thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you want to see more content like this, please drop a W SUPERVIVE in the comment section. Alright, enjoy the video.
I think we've all talked about it. I mean, I think transparently we need the game to, like, do well. Like, everything starts with an organic community. Everything starts with, like, a passionate player base that really loves the game, and then, organically that's how the esports scene kind of evolves. I think we've also seen games that like try to do it in reverse, and like that never works. Like they try to make an esport before the game is ready. I'll definitely not mention any game names, but like sometimes they spend a lot and then they realize like, oh, like either like the margins are really bad, and then like there isn't really a community that can sustain itself, and then this kind of esports bubble pops, right? And like I think even if you take any game out of that, that's happened to even some of the best competitive games, where it's like the esports bubble is super, super real. So I think a lot of that has played out okay nowadays, where like people are a lot more aware of like, this is how we should manage esports in the future, and like and how it should work, where like it really does need a passionate player base. But yeah, I think that's why our focus is going to be on making sure the game is as fun as it can be, and like shore up some of the issues that we've seen for like what makes players want to play continuously and choose this as like their main game of choice. So yeah, that's what 1.0 is focused on.
I don't know how much of the community knows this, but I think you have, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have a good esport background working with Riot, correct? Or... Yeah.
I've worked. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you explain that a little bit?
Sure. I was at Riot for 11 years. So wait, something like that. May 2011. May 2011 was when I started. So that was end of season 1, start of season 2, and then I was on Champions for multiple years, then gameplay, and then had some tech focus on cleaning up the engine and then coming back to the gameplay and then mostly focusing on leading that group and then becoming EP. When esports was always something that we had talked through at all levels in that journey, but yeah, basically it's just like it went from talking more about like what are good metas that we would want to promote, what are like ways that we can make sure that there's good champion variety, to hey, how do we, you know, when it was my time at EP, it was more about hey, how does the game interact with the sport, interact with lifestyle, and how can we make sure that like players can get excited within the client about esports? How can we raise awareness? How can we get people to get excited about like the next generation of esports folks, like players that they're not, you know, super aware of, or teams that they may not have, you know, championed in the past, because there have been longstanding brands that, you know, people really enjoy, like TSM or CLG, but then like, what is the next thing after that, you know, which maybe there are still struggling with, but but yeah, I think that's the thing where it's like, it's esports, so much of even that journey was based off of, and you know, we've talked about this in smaller versions of this, like with the community, but like, it's born out of like rivalries. It's born out of fun stories. It's born out of like players that people really enjoy watching. And so, you know, no matter what, like I think it kind of requires both. You kind of need like a really great game, and you need great personalities, and that's what makes the esport really shine. I think if we went back and thought about it, we'd say like, yeah, esports is definitely the best advertising, you know, for a game can ever have, because you kind of get to see all like the game showcased in the best ways, in the most like flashy ways, because these players can do things that no one else can. So I think that's one of the most exciting things about esports, for sure. Yeah.
All right, thank you for that. Let's head into the next clip. This clip is from me. It's an insane end game from my team, Moonlit Battlegrounds, and I just think it's a really fun clip. I was freaking out when I was watching this, and so here it is.
The curve, find that space, put their fire down. Gonna have big advantage as these teams gonna be moving their way in. I'm not quite sure what happened there as height goes down. Maybe just out of glider fuel before platform comes up. I actually don't know.
I would love to see.
Oh,
they're gonna force it. You only need one more hit. Oh, and managed to do it. Well, the Battlegrounds. Oh, wait, they're winning.
The triple nade.
Dude,
They took their platform. How rude.
oh my
Can you get high
God,
back?
another wombo from Pine, just insane. Now CDC nowhere to go. Gonna get taken out. Tredsy on the north side.
These endings, they're so fun and so cool to watch. I love
Something
this.
catches Spokane actually maybe out of glider fuel, having to hang out there for so long. As Indy moves to the north, it's just gonna be Aiden for CBC, so their plan sort of backfires
that's
there.
episode
Off of
four.
another
Oh my God, this is so
massive
scary.
Oh
wombo.
no. Aiden is going to allow them to proc
Why
the
is Aiden
crown.
always in this position?
This could be
Maybe I
huge.
should-
I think they need to try to take full advantage of it, but we can't talk about that right now
They're
because
bullying,
SUPERVIVE
we'll singling him
Illuminati
out.
is getting decimated
It's always
right now in the
Aiden.
northeast.
It's always Aiden.
Oh my, and now MB just in such a bad spot as TLD goes to the north, pushes them up there, and then they're trying to
Can
get
he
the crown
actually
kill
pop
onto Tredsy. Can Pine do it? And he does again. Insane. So
No, that's
just
so
like that,
clutch,
MB
actually.
back to full force for the third time. Still have that damage toll. Now
I was
they
so unsure
take
how
the
would they get
ground.
into
The
the zone, but
TLD
they actually
had
managed to
before them
loop all
as
the way
TLD
around.
tried to pressure them
Yeah,
up.
For the
that's
third
crazy.
time. The third time.
All right,
Oh, that was
that's the clip. What are you guys' thoughts?
that was I too Safelocked, and what Tom said, Abyss endings are some of the most, especially there, you know, one of the things that is really, I guess, cool with the game is that there's different types of endings in the game, right? And so with that clip, what's really cool is like these teams that have emergency platform that don't, right? Like they're playing the Abyss, they're throwing the base camp out there, they're fighting, gliding. There's so much you have to like think about and what have to do in those moments. And like you give Pine, right, this little platform, throws that little Zeph nade out and just goes wha-bam, boom with the Zephyl, and it's just like Like, what do? You know, they have to get off the platform now because there's a rain of arrows, there's a Zeph nade. You know, you gave them the area to play the game. So, I was awesome. Great plays from MB. Phenomenal team.
I think that is what I like about this whole Engage 2, where it's just like, any ground you make is useful for you, but it's useful for the enemy team. Like, I like that being something that you have to think about in that moment and be like, yes, like, do I want to make that trade-off right now? Because it might help your rotation, but it's going to help their rotation too. So you have to decide whether that's better or worse. And the calculus there is crazy. So yeah, I think the fact that all three teams were like rotating like mad, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're like literally doing that.
Exactly. I agree with you. It's literally like, it's like you make the platform. It's like, do you take where they were now? Do you trade? So do you give them a platform, take their platform, and keep doing this like back and forth?
Yeah, they're like doing it constantly. Right, yeah.
All right, who's gonna be the final one to be like, all right, we're all fighting right here together, okay? You know, or is it one of those where it's like, okay, there's two teams to our left and right. I think we all six stand on the platform together and just not hit each other because otherwise our game is over. Like, right? Like, do you have to think about this? It's like, okay, you know, it's like, who pulls the trigger first? Like, you know, it's like, was it Han or was it the bounty hunter? Who knows? You know. So I think there's a lot of things you have to think about, especially when you're just having such a small bit of land, especially over the abyss.
To add on to this, so this is my tournament that I was hosting, and I'm also the observer, but at the same time, my team is playing in this. So I'm watching my team doing all this, yeah. And this is game 3, and we won. MB won the first game, and TLD won the second game. And so I see TLD in a super strong position here, and I'm observing, and I have to be, you know, unbiased and like make sure everything is going well. But at the same time, like, I want to make sure my team's gonna win, and like, oh, we're in this bad spot, and Height just died somehow, and it's like, oh no, what's happening? And I see Pine just popping off like this, and then they switch around with TLD and get the advantage. I was like freaking out. It was so fun to watch for me.
Since it's your tournament, does it have to be biased? You know, it's your tournament. Like...
There's like one moment. I can find it. I'll probably put it in post. But where I don't remember who. I think Pine or someone got this insane kill, and I just like quickly start zooming in and out, like my own little celebration as the observer.
Yeah, wait, I remember this. I remember. I was like, why are we just zooming? I think it was in Cobra or something around there. I'm like, why is he just zooming in and out on the cameras? He's freaking out right now. I'm watching this in Discord. I'm like, that's crazy.
All right. I think Wedel, you have a question for Safelocked, correct?
Yes, I do. All right. So let me. There it is. All right, I do. One of the questions is on there. Does TC believe esports are needed to bring forth longevity in a competitive video game?
Oh. Yeah, I think this is maybe tied to my answer from the last question, now that I'm thinking about it. So sorry, I'll be redundant, but yeah,
it's okay.
Like, yeah, the answer is, yes, if you do it right. You know, like, if you do it wrong, it's like, it's actually devastating in a way, because it sort of, I think it can make it look like the game doesn't have any legs. But if you do it right, I think it's like, it's your path to mastery, you know? Like, a lot of times, even for our community, we care, like, so much of that this group is like aware of the competitive quality that you get from these scrims that feels different and is like really engaging. But even like, if you think about that plus the like, hey, like this is like almost the extension of a leaderboard to an extent, where it's like, these are the people that you should be really looking out for. Like those, I think that feels really meaningful to the players who have gotten that far. But yeah, it can't feel forced. Like, I don't think you can like force an esport to happen. It really has to be like, people believe in the mastery curve and believe that the game has enough depth that like there can be a competitive scene, right? And so I think so long as that's the case, and so long as the organic nature of the competitive scene grows and gets like you know, like it continues on because of that, I think that can be really great. And then the best version of that is like, yeah, it's then by, you know, as like a bonus, it becomes like the best advertising that you could ever have for a game, because it's like better than any promo, better than any commercial. It's just like people having an amazing time and playing at the highest level. Like that is probably the best way that you can showcase, like, there is a reason why you should engage in this game, you know? And I think that's even like, by the way, yeah, I think that's even more important than like how big the prize pool is, or like, you know, like what, you know, even like the number of like regions that get like, that are part of the international competitions. Like those are important, and like that can up the stakes. But for me, it kind of goes back to how authentic is the scene to begin with, and how much do people believe in the depth of the game. So yeah, but yeah, I think it's all super great for a game if they do it right.
I'm, you know, ready for this game to pop off, and I'm just waiting for the Esports LAN tournament, where the international, where we get all the people from all over the world competing.
That would be so
in LA.
cool. It would be very cool.
In Madison Square Garden.
My dog agrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, your dog's excited.
Dog is agreeing.
All right. Before we head into it, Tom, would you like to give us any context or say any words about this clip?
Yes. So one of the things I really love about SUPERVIVE, there's two things. Number one is powers. I think powers are great in this game. But secondly, that doesn't get talked about too much, is storm shifts. And there's two like really cool storm shifts. Like as a player, my favorite storm shift is cross country. I think it's so fun to play it and how much you need to think about it. But as a viewer, the absolute best storm shift is bullet trains, and you'll see why.
I'm watching the final of this, but I would otherwise. I mean, it depends. Well, Jack, what are you playing?
Carbine.
I think Carbine
I love
is good
it.
for that.
We also get wheel reaction at the same time.
Oh my gosh, there's no way. There's no way.
Tell me they caught that on the stream.
Oh my god.
Tell me they caught that on the stream. Tell me they caught that on the stream.
How many was that?
That's comical. That's all.
So obviously, I'm not happy with that clip because that's my team. But it's funny. It's funny, you know? And it's a squad scrim. It's okay.
We can't only have the good Moonlit Battleground clips, okay? We gotta have the fails as well.
That is.
You just have to have a pine clip in this.
I'm not gonna lie, every single time so there's a bunch of GIFs, right, made of Pine, okay? Of Pine dying to bullet train, of Pine just, you know, Shrike backflipping into a full squad of 4. I've made so many, okay? I catch every moment. I come back. It hasn't even been a week. I come back and I just catch this moment while we were discussing like strategy, and I just lost it. I was like, this is just perfect. I don't know why, but this is just perfect for me. I love this. I find
staring at it and being like, are the train tracks are working, right? Like the lights are on. The lights are okay. I was freaking out.
That's just such a funny clip, and I think seeing stuff like I think this kind of can go back to whenever, you know, whenever we had the Creator Cup, right? Even way back when. I think seeing things like those moments are equally as good as seeing like the hype moments too, right? Because players would be like, oh, and B's they're wiped out. It's just like, you know, I don't know. That's why I find that clip funny. I like how Tom and I.
Yeah, they both submitted the same clip. The same clip. They both submitted it.
It's a good one. I feel like it looks like they organized in it. I don't know. It is insane.
I guess it's just tunnel vision.
Tomfoolery here.
All right, Tom, did you have a question?
Yes, so I know, you know.
Oh, wait, sorry. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
There is one more thing that I wanted to ask. I have to ask this on behalf of Mad Magical. He's been pushing for like the last 2 weeks to increase the speed of the trains every time it gets a kill. What are your thoughts?
I heard about this. Relic was mentioning this to me too. That he was interested in this. I like that idea. What I was saying to people was like, I don't know if that. I don't think that would be a perf problem, but like that would be my first question is double checking that as opposed to anything else. But I'll ask. I'm into it. I'm into it.
All right. I want like a super bullet train where they just like 4 of them and they're like going extra. Anyway. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you guys, the devs, they watch the tournaments, make some bets, and you probably can't talk about who you're rooting for, what the bets are going for. But looking at the big picture, who do the devs like overall think is the strongest region, and why is it EU?
That's right. You bleed NA. Come on.
I think it's pretty split actually right now. Ooh. It might be pretty split because there's also EU folks on the team. I don't know if people know that, but like yeah, there's EU folks on the team. So I think it's pretty 50-50. Also, speaking of personalities, people Topkick, you're a fan favorite, so I think you go a long way.
I take that.
Yeah. I will say it's pretty 50-50. EU, I think, is more. I don't know. They're more edgy. I'll say they're an edgier group. I feel like they like to challenge. They like to say in what ways they are the best. And then I have gotten separate NA verbatims from NA teams being like, the EU guys are wrong about the meta. But they won't say it, preemptively. They'll just hear what EU has to say, and then they'll tell me later that they think they're wrong. So there's some secret rivalry going on between EU
I like
and
that.
NA.
I like that.
Yeah.
This is why we need the LAN tournament. We need to decide,
I agree. I think it needs to happen. I must know.
All right, who's your favorite team, Safelocked?
No,
why is it MB? Why is it MB?
This is literally what Tom was trying to get out of me, and I know that's what he was trying to get out of me.
It's okay. It's okay. Tom and I know you can say TLD. It's okay.
Oh
we can
say
here.
God.
It's Hogs. It's Hogs.
Back.
It's Hogs. I know it.
Hey, listen. Listen, I can accept it because Twin One is our biggest fan for Hogs. This guy, I love it. So it's okay. You can say TLD, say fuck. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. Throw it out there. Just say it already.
I do enjoy watching TLD, but I don't think that it's been as obvious to me that I have a favorite right now. I'm actually really enjoying watching the plays from like pretty much every like team that I'm watching right now. So like I know like there was like a lot of memeing around like how much EU I watch or whatever, but I actually really enjoy some of the EU matches that I've seen too. So yeah, I don't know. It might not be TLD anymore. We'll see. Yeah, I'll maybe I'll post about it sometime. my some of my favorite plays from some of the teams. It's actually been surprising to me. There have been new names also that I haven't been as familiar with that have been coming up that I'm actually surprised by.
All right.
Yeah.
Any final questions before we head out?
You're right, though. I do like watching Phenom, actually. Phenom is actually pretty fun.
Yeah, Phenom is
right.
Phenom's fun.
I do
Phenom's
like it.
fun.
I think
Come on.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty
Come
fun.
on.
His reactions are good. Yeah, he has good reactions. I love when he pops off.
Yeah.
It's okay, though. I know whoever the map designer is or whoever put Go Hogs into the map,
I know
Yeah, that's
exactly
true.
what it did. Yeah.
Oh, you guys.
Is that in response to the team, or is it just there?
Oh, it's definitely the team. We sent it to Wedel afterwards. Yeah, we screenshot it, or I'm pretty sure we screenshot it and sent it to you before. We put it in the game.
You didn't.
Oh, we didn't. We made it a surprise.
I got in the game, and we were playing a scrim the first time I saw it, and I was like, I had to do a double take, right? I was like, I was going to machine. I turn around, and I'm like, but then when my team got into a fight, so I couldn't say anything because I was like already stunned. And so then the next game, I didn't tell them. I said, "Come with me, guys. Come with me." And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "We're in the middle of a scrim." I said, "No. Come with me." And then I go, "Look," and everyone's like, "Oh, that's awesome!" I'm like, "I know." I was like, I went to tell Lemur. I went to tell everybody. I was like, "Guys, Go Hogs in the game. You already know. TC loves us. Best team out there."
I mean, that's true. That's true. There's nothing but love. I've actually been wanting to. Like, that's one of the things that we love doing too, is like putting like little Easter eggs of like the actual esports teams. That's been really fun. And so we've been talking about like, oh, when should we put some more Easter eggs in? So yeah.
I love that.
All right, I'm not sure how to end this actually. But I didn't think this far ahead.
E is better than NA. Let's go.
No.
Yes, Joe now.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
All right.
That's awesome.
That's the best. No, that's the worst way to end it. All right. Thank you guys. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. It was. I don't know about you guys. I had a ton of fun. Maybe we should do this again. Maybe we can get some other people on. Let's just get a final word, like one single word from each person. Tom Kick, go. One word. Do it again. It didn't come. It didn't come up.
Quiet. Don't.
All right, Wedel.
Hogs.
Safelocked.
Joe SUPERVIVE.
All right, mine is W SUPERVIVE. All right, thank you everyone for watching. May your passion shine as bright as the moon. I am Super Warrior with Tom Kick, Safelocked, Wedel. Follow, like, and subscribe. I'll have everything in the description. Thank you everyone. Peace out.